Yeah, there looked to be a... When I looked at it just now, it looked like it was a little different than normal, but as long as...
I just sent a note. I was just trying things to make sure other stuff was working, so I did just do a post of copying that, but yeah, I think the thing that'll happen is that it will not
Notify the Facebook Live people.
I don't know, that's kind of what I'm imagining. You know, maybe not.
Well, we'll see if...
Get direct access to 1 billion professionals on LinkedIn. Download the app today. Chain, chain, chain. 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 Chain, chain, chain.
Get everyone in the mood. Welcome, Bev. Well, we had some technical difficulties on this end, and we had to start the video manually, and we're just hoping that the people from the Facebook Live group find this video. I see Bev is on. I know Becky is on. Now it looks like we're finally getting some... Now it looks like we're getting some more folks joining us. If you're just joining us, we had some slight technical difficulties starting the video so we manually started it, and that means you may have not gotten your automatic notification. So we're glad that you, glad you found us, Monica. All the way up in Alaska. We got Bev, I think, is in Indiana.
You know, this might be one of those, I don't think I have the ability to send any, like, hearts or notices or something, because I don't see it on here.
Yeah.
But, if people did that, I know that sometimes flags it for other people that are part of a group.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't have it even as an option on mine.
Oh, wow.
I mean, because I'm the host.
All right. So Jane found us. Welcome, Jane. Plain Jane. And let's see. So we're going to be doing 3 different kit families tonight. ChainChainChain, and the premium memory spirals, and which we also did a tutorial back in 2023 on. And we're also doing the stone slider, which we actually launched in May-ish or so. And we launched it back in May, and but we never did a tutorial on it yet, so we thought it was worthy of a tutorial. These are all fairly straightforward projects, and right now we're just waiting to get a few more people on. We had interest of 34 people, pre-interest of 34 people, so I hope they all find us. And but we're just having a lovely last couple days here in Stoughton, where the windows were able to be opened, and which was a blessing.
If I were him, I'd bundle my home and auto and pick up the real big. No, bundle, Jan. Bundle and save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, we'll just hang on a little bit more. It looks like not everyone's finding us. We're just gonna, I don't want people to miss it. So far, we've got Bev and Monica and Jane, and hopefully we won't. Yeah, that's good old Alaska. One of our staff is actually up in Alaska right now in Soldotna. Their her daughter's a missionary, and they just had a little baby, so they're going to visit the little baby. And she's been gone for a week, but coming back this weekend. So welcome, Leah. Looks like more people are starting to find us. Welcome, Jill. So we got Jill and Monica and Leah and Jane and Bev. Oh, well, what a small world. Small world. I love saying Soldotna. It's just, it's kind of fun to say. Well, we are going to need to get started. This is being recorded and for future tutorial purposes, so I'm hoping that more people will find, but we're going to go ahead and get it started. We're coming to you live from historic downtown Stoughton. It's the Ed and Becky Show. My name is Ed. Say hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky.
Becky says hi. Welcome, Deb, from Annapolis, Maryland. So we are going to do Chain, 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 and just in case you missed it,
Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain.
yes, we're going to be doing Chain, 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 and some premium 5-wrap memory spiral bracelets, and the new stone slider, and some accessories. And each of those will have a tutorial. And we're going to start right in with the Chain, Chain, Chain. This was a kit from 2015 to 2022 that after the pandemic, premium dimensional decorative chain like doubled in price, and we just couldn't keep this going at a reasonable price. As it was, the kit was $48, and we thought, if this chain doubled, it's going to be impossible to sell. And but what we did is found some chain that was still available in our stock that we had bought before 2022, and we said, let's try to. It's not the exact design that we had, but it's darn close and darn pretty and beautiful, premium chain. And so we relaunched this. We kept the price at $48, and we got a good reception. We took a prototype to an art fair, and it sold right away within a couple hours. So we thought that was, affirmation that we should relaunch this as a kit. This kit is all about making jump rings. If you can open and close a jump ring 12 times, you can make this kit. You also have to do a crimp on either end of the cup chain, crystal cup chain. But for those of you that have never opened a jump ring, think of each of my thumbs as a pair of pliers. And you never want to crack the jump ring open like an egg. You always want to push forward and backward, forward and backward. So what appears to be, you look at it, it's like, oh, that's a ring. And so much of jewelry making is making connections, and this is one of the most common connections, is opening and closing a ring. So you push it forward, you add the two elements that you're trying to connect, and you push it back. And oftentimes you'll even hear it click. I don't know if you can hear that clicking or not. You'll hear that click, then you check it from the top, you check it from the side. If it's a good connection, you're good to go. So this project is really 12 jump rings, 5 on the top, a 6th one for the clasp. You go to the bottom, 5 more jump rings, a 6th one for the bar and circle toggle. So 12 jump rings, and you've made this bracelet. Some other tips: there is a front and a back to this 5-bar connector. So this is, I think, the prettier side. So you always want to have especially with your cup chain, you want to have that oriented toward the front. So we're going to be working on a copper one as a sample, and I'm just going to set these other ones briefly aside. And I'll leave this in the background so we know what we're working towards. But when you open your kit, again, you're going to have complete instructions, as we always do. And you're going to have an accessory bag, and you're going to have a bag with the 5 pieces of chain. So it's just that easy. You're going to be putting chain and accessories together. Dumped out in a bowl. It now looks a little bit like this. And what I've done, just so you're not sitting here watching me do jump rings, is I cheated and started with the first 4. So I got this toggle clasp connected, and I got these, 3 of these 5 pieces of chain connected. I mean, really, the first 6 rings are a no-brainer because you don't have to do any thinking. On the second 6, you do have to do just a little bit of thinking. And what do you mean by that, Ed? Well, you have to be thinking, you have to be mindfully thinking about sizing, sizing the bracelet. just gonna make that connection. I've put the pearls on, I've put the 5-bar connector on, and just like that, you're making connections and you're making jewelry. Now, with cup chain, there's no connector. It's like, how do I do that? Well, you have these special little thingies here called cup chain connectors, and it's just a little box that you put in there, and you can see it's got a little prong here and a little prong here, and you're just holding it 90 degrees apart, and you're pushing the prong in. So again, I don't know if you can see it. So again, there's a left and right prong that you've just grabbed from the back and kind of pushed in, and now you've made that chain connectable. Sorry, that cup chain connectable. This pliers is acting weird, so I'm gonna see if this pliers works better. So we're back to our jump rings, and the beauty of these twisted jump rings is sometimes you can't even really tell where the seam is. So we're going to go ahead and get that, and I try to make sure I'm staying on camera. And then we've got our connection. So yeah, we're halfway done with just 6 jump rings. And then you would size it to your wrist. The clasp bed's 2.5 inches. So let's say you have a wrist that needs a 7.5 inch finished bracelet. You would trim each of these chains down to 5 inches. You get 6 inches right off the bat. And what I've sort of done is kind of pre-trim these to be close to where they need to be. And so let's take a closer look at that. I hope I didn't, oh, there we go. Just so you can kind of see what I'm seeing. So they're all pretty much the same length. And with a couple of tips here. Sometimes, like with this longer, bigger dimensional decorative chain, they're all in a row, but this is about half a thing longer. So when all is said and done, if you have a choice of it being longer or shorter, you want it longer. All it will do is sag a little bit when it's held, but when it's on your wrist, it'll still be fine. So if you're in between sizes, keep the longer version of that. Because we're going to be adding this to the end of the crystal cup chain, I'm going to cut this last thing off so that when I put this on, they'll all be even. And then the only other thing that's tricky is this guy, this dimensional decorative chain. When you look at it closer, there's 2 little scallop shells on every ring. So what I like to do is part them and then make the connection there. So, it'll go, and usually what I like to do is do the outsides first, just so I can kind of see, where I'm at. Because what you can do is do the outsides first, and then do the toggle bar. And in fact, I'm going to sneak right now and put that toggle bar on. So that's ready to go when the time is. But then I'll do the both ends. And what I'm going to do with that is then I can try it on and see where I'm at. If it's especially before you start really cutting things down. And all this is open link chain, obviously, other than the cup chain. Keep grabbing the wrong pliers, and I'm going to grab. So ultimately, this is all open link chain. So you can do some adjusting and moving around if you need to. You also don't want to make sure your chain isn't twisted. Especially the ones that are designed to lay flat a little bit more. So again, we're gonna get that guy on there. So now we're just a few rings away. And so now you could kind of get a feel, you know, what this is going to look like. And you could bring it around and clasp it to say, am I the right size? And this would be the opportunity to say, oh, I'm still a little, you know, I'm still a ½ inch too long. Well, then you can now go and cut each one down another ½ inch. Oops. But we had talked earlier, I knew that I've got the cup chain one thing too long, so I can just, I mean, obviously if you have a chain cutters, cut that. I've got a flush cutters, and it's thin, it's got a thinner backing, so I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to put my little cozy cage on that. And so that's done. And then I'm going to probably hold that up, and it's like, yep, it looks good. So I'm going to make that connection next. Be sure to bring it back on camera. And again, this one you do for sure want to make sure is not twisted. You know, they say there's the people that lay sod, you know, that the landscapers, when they lay sod, they have the #1 rule of sod is, when you're laying sod, is green side up, green side up, green side up. Well, the same is true with laying down crystal. You want the crystal side up, crystal side up. So there we go. And then we mentioned in the dimensional decorative chain that there's 2, you know, scallop shells, and in some cases they're different little things, but you kind of part them if possible to be able to get that ring in there. And what I should have done is got my ring ready before I parted them, but we're just 2 rings away, and then we'll start selling these. Lot 1 is ultimately going to be the silver. Lot 2 is going to be the brass, and Lot 3 is going to be the copper. Antique brass, antique silver, antique brass, antique copper.
You know what? Can you repeat that again? Because my sheet has antique silver for both 1 and 2. Lot 1 is going to be antique.
Yeah, 2 is brass. I'm sorry.
No worries. It's different quantities. So I want to make sure.
Yeah, my bad.
No worries. I can figure it out.
Alrighty. So now, where am I, Ed? Let's see. So when in doubt, shake it out. When in doubt, shake it out. All right. So now I know I got to go there. Go there, go there, go there. I was just making sure I wasn't twisting myself. I apologize. I've got such big fat fingers. But this proves to you that this, as it gets tight and close work, it still can be done. And then finally we got those little pearls. And I've got kind of a white pearl and kind of a antique cream pearl, a white pearl for the silver, and antique cream, a little bit smaller size pearl for the and again, you're seeing me just make these connections 1, 1, 1, but I kind of line them up in advance. And again, so a lot of the work in this is just sizing it and making sure you're getting it the right length before you make your final connections. So you can see now that everything is lining up lovely. I mentioned that there was this was, 1/2 thing longer than, and so again, it's got, when I pull it tight, it's got a little bit of slack here, you can kind of see, but when you're wearing it, the slack is non-evident. So that is that. These are $48. Again, if you're getting some of the discounts, they can be, if you're in our designer program, they can be as low as $36. If you get a bunch of kits tonight and you get the 20% off, that's $38.40 for a gorgeous bracelet. But yeah, let's give you those lot numbers, and I'm going to fix lot number 2 real quick.
Thanks, Lisa, for starting us out.
All righty. Thank you, Lisa. So this is the one I made. I'm going to keep that over here. So yes, so lot number 1. And so you're going to see 4 different red lot numbers. Oh, I never did cover this at the start of the show. Again, today's show, you save 10% if you spend $100. You save 20% if you spend $250. Easy to do with these. We have some higher price kits. If your net order is over $50, you get free shipping as well. And if you've done this show before, you know exactly what to do. You just reply like Lisa's doing, sold, and the lot number and the quantity. And if this is your first time, you can still reply like that as well. But we don't know how to reach you at the end of the show. We know how to reach Lisa because she's done this before. We know how to really, find many of the people that are commenting so far. But if this is your first time, you just got to send us an email to Becky@YakinosDesigns.com. All righty. So again, we have this, and I think lot number 7 is when you see the red number, that is all we have on the planet. There is none more. So when these 12 are gone, this is gone. We have 12 of the silver. We have 11 of the brass, and we have 10 of the copper. So this is lot number 1, $48 for ChainChainChain. Again, we sell these, for putting 12 jump rings on. We sell these for $68 at art fairs, and they fly off the shelf. So lot number 1 is antique silver. When we had this as a kit, it was always the best seller. If we sold 4 kits, it was typically 2 silver, 1 copper, 1 brass. So kind of a 2-to-1. So that's lot number 1. Lot number 2 is the brass version of this. This is the closest to the original design in that it's got 3 of the 5 elements. It's got 3 of the 5 original elements. It's got the original dimensional decorative chain. This was the chain that really got expensive. Our wholesale cost on this chain is like $18 a foot. It's crazy. If we had to buy it, and we aren't buying it anymore. But anyway, and the dimensional decorative was the original. The crystal is near the original. The pearl is near the original, and the side chain is the one we couldn't get anymore. And then lot number 3, way to go, Gretchen, load up. Might as well get them while they're here. Life's short. And then we have lot number 3 is the copper version. All right. Lot number 3 is the antique copper version. So when all is said and done, they all have in the same family, this side chain, but this one's a little different on the left, and we pulled in with antique copper. We thought, oh, it'd be fun to do a southwesty vibe, so that's why we pulled in the turquoisey rosary chain / pearls or whatever. But all of them have a lovely large crystal.
You know what? I want to show. I mean, these wear so fun, and I mean, if you like something that has a little bit of, you know, just a little bit of shimmy to it, they really do wear beautifully, and they hang nice. And I'm putting myself out there, but how much length of chain on each of these is there in the kit, Eddie?
They're 6 inches, so you can make up to an 8.5 inch long bracelet.
So that means you're going to have extra. And these are all the chains that are in there have, not all, but many of them are jump rings or can be used as jump rings.
Right, they're open link, yeah.
Yeah, and so it'd be easy to make matching earrings. So
Yep.
just wanted to mention that before you move on.
Yep. Thanks for double checking. All right, so lots 4, 5, 6, and 7 are 4 new colorways of our established. We have an established 5-wrap bolo bracelet, and it's been very popular. Sold thousands of them. We currently have 9 colorways on our web, and now we have 13. This is Magnolia Bloom, which we had many years ago, and people were so sad to see it go, and it's probably 95% of what the original Magnolia Bloom was. This one is called Red Rock Turquoise. We're featuring a brand new center bolo leather that we got. This one is the one that's rare. It only has 10 of them available, and we're calling it Scottish Highland. And this one is the one we're going to do the demos on, and it's called Arizona Sky. And so anyway, we're going to start in with that demonstration first. We did also do a demo and a tutorial in 2023. And that is also linked on our website, but we wanted to show you in case you didn't know how to do that. Here's the other thing that we're doing different. Up and all the designs up until this point had in the center row. So first of all, you know, the Czech people call these bugles. We call them a tube. It's a 4x9 bead, and they call them bugles. And they also call these bugles. They call it a mini bugle. I like to think of them as tater tots. They're cute little tater tots. But we've always used size 6 beads for this center column on all our designs up till this point. And when we launched these 4 new ones, we wanted not only the design to be new, lot 2 is brass, yep, and 3 is copper on the ChainChainChain. But so not only are they new designs, new leathers, but we're using the tater tots instead of size 6 beads. So what does that mean? The tater tots, you're going to find out, bead a little bit faster and have just a different, little bit of a different look. But we can't get these we might be able to get these tater tots back in like 6 months, but maybe not. So we only have 10 of those. So once those 10 are gone, they are gone. So when you get your kit and open it up, you're going to see, you know, it's again a bag of the big bugles, and the small bugles, we'll call them tubes, tater tots, and spacers. And then you have when you see this, you're going to think, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful, because here's why. When we first started making these kits, we found out it is really hard to put the bolo leather on. So we put it on for you. So when you get this kit, it's already put on. So know that we're not trying to deprive you of a learning opportunity, but we do want to let you know that is done. Now, the other thing that our staff should have done is evened out this wire, and so that there's exactly 2 wraps on both sides. And in this case, it's not even close. So what I'm just doing is, before you even start beading, you want to make sure that this end and this end and this end and this end are all pretty much even. And then if not, you need to just kind of adjust them a little bit by pushing one way or the other. And pretty soon, now I pushed too far. But basically, you want to get it so that, there's 2 even wraps on either side. You get what I'm trying to do there? So that's how it comes. And so the first thing you do is make sure that you're even, Steven, ready to go. And then, knowing that the middle is already there, you just need to bead it from the inside out. You'll bead one train track of that, and then you'll bead the other. And so, basically, you just start. The other thing you'll notice is, in our instructions, it'll say you should intermittently put on a spacer. And with our normal kits, we typically say every 5 or 6 beads you put a spacer. Well, with the tater tots, they're a little bit fatter. So what I'm doing is, and intermittently, so I just started beading it. I didn't want you guys to sit here and watch me bead. So I'm just like every 4, and I even had a 3 there. Every 4 beads, I'm putting a spacer. Now, you get to control the medley. Most of these have a medley for this course. This one is, I picked this one on purpose because I didn't have to think. This one is, the inside course is all the same. So you just sit there and bead, 4 beads, spacer, 4 beads, spacer, 4 beads, spacer, 4 beads, spacer. And then, and so now I've got, and I've kind of checked my work, and I don't know if everyone, I gotta make sure I'm on camera here. So we got 4 beads, and then I think I was periodically doing a 5, so maybe I did do a 5. And then I did a 4. And so it's as simple as putting beads on, so right now, the first project was 12 jump rings. This is 90% string and beads. The only tool use is curling the wire at the end, just so the beads don't fall off. So what we've done is,
Can I say, I am impressed that you are doing an odd number of beads and not all the same.
Right.
And you have moved over to the left a little bit.
All right. So you can see I kind of pre-programmed where that I would bead a little bit, and then I would end up with, so you want to be kind of checking your work. It's about 8 to 10 packets of beads that you all of a sudden line up. And so this is the inner course has now been beaded. And now you want to start the outer course. And I just happen to, and the outer course is tube, spacer, tater tot spacer, wash, rinse, repeat. Tube, spacer, tater tot spacer, tube, spacer, tater tot spacer. Now I happen to, and then this outer ring has a medley. And again, you're the master of the medley. You can put these on however you want to put them on. But I happen to notice in the kit that for every 2 red beads, there was one green bead and one blue bead. So I'm putting on red, green, red, blue, red, green, red, blue. And then it also has a pleasing, ring to it. So in this case, and the green and the blue are very subtly different. So I've got red, green, red, blue, and I got red. And you always kind of remember, I'm putting a spacer between everything, and that's what gives it that rich look. So you're always thinking, if I've just put a bead on, I got to put a spacer on. And sometimes it's, you frequently look at your work because it's easy to put two beads on in a row. It's easy to put two spacers on in a row. I've made hundreds of these for art fairs, and believe me, I have done that. So you see that second row is starting to take shape. The other thing you need to be careful of on the first course is not pushing this all very hard, because if you push it really hard, you'll get yourself out of center here. So you want to make sure that you're staying in center. When you're doing the second course, I love doing the second course because you can push as hard as you want, and you won't, because the first end's already curled. So you would go around and curl the wire, and then we're going to do the second side, and I'll show you how to curl the wire in just a second. But every now and then you'll encounter some spacers that two of them are fused together, and that's just because the plating got plated together. And what I like to do is I'd like to take a round nose and get it right on the seam and just push, and then you get your beads apart. So if you do see those, it's seeming like the copper has a little bit more of these. We always give you more spacers than you need. So if and sometimes you may just have a couple of those. All right, so we're fast forwarding, just like on the baking shows where they put the pie in the oven and then all of a sudden they're pulling the pie out. So I had finished that course, and this ended nice and evenly on a bead, and I just made my loop, and I just basically grab the last 3/8 of an inch, and I twirl it around. Grab the last 3/8 of an inch and twirl it around, and you'll see that in a second. And some of you don't have these fancy round nose pliers. If you have needle nose, it's no problem. Instead of this being an O, it's a D, and that's no problem. So we're getting towards the end of our project. So now we've beaded, we've beaded the first side, and now we've beaded the second side, the inner loop, and we're mostly done with the outer loop. And we're heading down the home stretch, and I've done a red here, so I know the next one in my pattern is a green. And I'm doing a spacer, and a spacer, and a tater tot. What do you guys think of that name, tater tots? I think it's kind of cool. And then after the tater tot, a red bead, and tater tot, and a spacer. Now, you see, we really don't have enough room to put another long bead on here. If we did, we wouldn't have any room to curl. But at the same time, we have too much wire to curl, and in a worst case scenario, it's no harm to curl a lot of wire. That's something you can do all the live long day. So what I like to do is, if you're right in between, just put a second, we finished perfectly on the first side on a single tater tot, but on this one, we're going to just put a second tater tot, and now that leaves us with our perfect 3/8 of an inch. And again, you grab it like you grab your hair on a curling iron, right at the end of the wire. And I usually do it kind of, in the middle of these pliers where you're giving yourself a reasonable sized loop. It just needs to be enough to make a connection. And you just simply curl it as much as you can. and then you continue the curl, the second part of the curl. You sometimes have to grip it a second time to do that. And the biggest thing you want to do is make sure, and see, I've actually gone past. And the reason I've gone past is I just want to make sure it has some tension on it when I go to close it up. There you go. So now it's looking nice. And again, the biggest thing, you just don't want the beads to fall off. That is the number one goal of making that loop. We don't want any beads flying in any direction. And then we all these have different little charms. Carol was having a little bit of a wacky day. She helped design this, and she's like, I want to put an owl as the charm. So we got these cute little hootie owls. And so we're putting a cute little hootie owl on as a charm, and that's just opening and closing a ring. So the only tool use on this entire bracelet is twirling the wire twice and opening and closing a single jump ring. And boom, look how lovely that is. And then when you go to put it on, again, you hook it on your wrist. I don't know if anyone can see that. And then you just start, you always go in the same direction. You don't want to be going back and forth. So you keep saying, I'm going towards my wrist, I'm going towards my wrist, I'm going towards my wrist. And I have a big man wrist, and these still fit lovely. So when you take it off, you grab the wire that's nearest to your wrist, and you do the same thing. Say, I'm going towards my wrist, I'm going towards my wrist, I'm going towards my wrist, going towards my wrist. So right now we have just 10 of each of these made. Again, lot number 7, the Scottish Highland, only has 10. The rest we could make more. We just can't probably make them till next week. Possibly sooner. But lot 4 is, this is the one that, again, started the whole project, was Magnolia Bloom. And it's a different color palette than all of our, and by the way, these are $38, and they have been $38. We haven't raised our prices on these for many, many years. I think, gosh, I think when we launched them, I think they were in 2019-ish, maybe. They were that much. So I see someone sneaking ahead and getting a 7. That's totally acceptable. It makes Becky got to think a little bit. But anyway, so lot 4 is Magnolia Bloom. And again, it's probably our only pink, mauve, purplish palette in all 13 of ours. It really stands out, and I remember it being such a good seller and people being so sad when it was gone. So, well, I spoiled the soup, so I'm going to jump ahead to 7 and then circle back to 5 and 6 just to keep Becky from not going nuts. So let's do that. So right now we're bidding on lots 4 and 7, and there's we may be able to do something similar, but not with tater tots. And so you may see we're going to play with that to see, does it really change the look? But these interior beads were spectacular. So. So right now we're bidding on 4 Magnolia Bloom and 7 Scottish Highland, and we'll come back to 5 and 6, and we'll do them individually. And again, our final tutorial will go pretty quickly. And again, we had for those of you joining us late, we had about a 10-minute delay with some video issues, but we seem like we got them resolved, and people are finding us, and we hope they find us on the replay. All right, so 4 and 7, I think we've...
7 sold out.
7 is sold out. So 7. Hey, that means we can take the sample to. We can take the sample to. Appleton this weekend. All right, so lot 5 was the one I was doing the sample or the tutorial on, and this one has a fun story. This one we did some prototyping, by just holding things we just hold things together in our hands and take photographs of them, and then we get different opinions of people, and it's like this one showed up as, hey, this is a cool kit. But then when we made it, we're like, is it really? And so we took a prototype to Mount Horeb. It sold within an hour. We took a second one the second day to Mount Horeb. It sold within an hour. So we said, okay, the market is saying this is lovely and we should make this. So we called it Arizona Sky. And thanks to Carol for, coming up with this pairing, and why it, it works better than we thought it would. And so, like I said, it's ironically, of all the prototypes, we had all the prototypes at Mount Horeb, and this one sold. We didn't have Scottish Highland, but absolutely, Nancy, you can always change your mind. All right, and then lot 6 is the what I thought was the most eye-catching, eye-popping was Red Rock Turquoise, and it's using a brand new multi-colored turquoise and red woven center bolo. It's actually using similar outer beads to the Arizona Sky, and the tater tots are in the same palette as the outer beads. So it is kind of like the ultimate Southwesty bracelet, and I am so, you're warming my heart to see that, and Gretchen's on top of things. Oh, good. So, I mean, we don't mind people ever canceling, but we know we'll find someone that will love the lot 7s. So this is lot 6. I'm just going to keep this on the screen for a little bit while I set up my demo for the stone slider. So this all started with someone wanting me to make 20 of these for a special project. When we made them, I thought, this is lovely. Now we made those a little differently, and had a tooled version for that, and I wanted to come up with a no tools version of a bracelet that's just absolutely yummy. And these use 6mm large hole semi-precious gemstones. In this case, bloodstone, faceted cacoxenite, blue sky marble quartz, and Red Creek jasper. But once you get the concept, and we introduced naked kits of these, So you can, we have 36 different strands of stones in size 6 millimeter, large hole. So, which is, which is crazy. So you could have 36 different one of these, and then you multiply that by the 4 different, spacers, and you've got really thousands of combinations. So we start this out with a naked kit, and the naked kit is basically everything but the beads. It does come with instructions, and it comes with a toothpick, and I'll tell you why you need a toothpick in a second. But basically, so when you get the kit, you have the naked kit essentially, and a bag, a nice bag of beads. And to start the project, it's simply tying a knot on one end of the leather. You want to tie it as near to the end as possible. All I've done is just made a little pretzel here. I've just made the most simplest knot on the planet. So we're going to tie that knot, and then to make sure our end dangle is in place, we put that on next. And then we're going to put on the silicone slider. So the slider is the secret sauce to this bracelet kit, thus the name. And there's a couple of tips to making sure you can get your leather through. There's a couple tips to making sure you get the leather through twice. And one is to kind of pre-relax the silicone by, and I just use a round nose pliers and I push it down. So you're essentially kind of just stretching it out a little bit. It really doesn't, change the shape of it, but it relaxes it, makes it a little bit easier for later on. We are also going to, the reason the kit comes with a toothpick is the toothpick will help you push through it if you need that. But we're going to put that on next. And again, that goes on super easy the first time because you're not having to worry about that. And then, quite frankly, it is, the instructions, instead of bead spacer, it says start with a spacer and then go with the bead. So it is literally straight line beading. You can, quite frankly, make this project in 15 or 20 minutes if you really wanted to. So, oops, and see, look at that, I've already screwed up. Bead spacer. I'm sitting here talking and chewing gum. And so, bead spacer. And you just keep beading. But you'll also notice that there's with a lot of these stones, there's kind of a medley to the stone. And again, who's the master of the medley? You guys are. So if you think there's some of the Red Creek jasper that's prettier than the others, then you put those more towards the center 3 inches of the bracelet, and maybe the first 1.5 inches and the last 1.5 inches you put the less pretty. But we give you 26 beads and 27 spacers, and the instructions are make note that we give you sizing tips as well in the instructions, and I'll just pull that out real quick so you can preview it. So if you have an 8-inch wide or circumference wrist, which is I'm 7 1/4. The statistically average woman 6.5. So a lot of times you're only using 20 beads. You got 6 extras for earrings. But even if you have an 8-inch wrist, you've got plenty of beads. If you need it longer than that, there would just be a slight gap in the beads. But So use this as your guideline for sizing, and obviously, so the 1/4 inch would be 19, 21, 23, etc. But so you bead to the, length of your wrist, and then just going to set this aside so I don't lose where I put that. And so again, fast forward. Fast forward, however many beads I had planned for this one, I have done. So I have beaded my last bead and spacer, and now it's time to close the deal. And the first thing you're going to do is make sure you got a nice sharp point in your leather. It'll just help make it go through a little easier. The second thing you're going to do is, if you can kind of see what I'm doing, I'm pulling on both strands of the leather down as hard as I can and pushing up on the spacer, and that's to create as big a hole as possible here in the silicone bushing. And again, this leather happens to be a little looser than normal, but if you can see what I'm doing, then I'm just taking the toothpick to kind of nudge it through. And then you can kind of see that it's not only then does it nudge through, but now you can see the silicone is keeping the nice tension on it. And what I recommend in the instruction video is, if you have about 1.5 inch tail on each side, that typically is enough for you to widen it and get it over the widest part of your wrist, and then get it on and off again. But what you would do is, so right now, this tail would have been very long. It probably would have been out to here. And so you're the one that gets to determine, in this final step, how long this gets to be and how long this gets to be. And you can kind of do some loose knotting. Obviously, I don't know if you saw me or I mentioned it. I put that dangle on there, and that's to also kind of help it from, going past the slider. So, so again, you'll play with that sizing. For some of you, this might be, so right now I've got these at 1.5 inches, and actually I think this might have been my prototype, but these may not be a full 1.5 inches, but not only should they be 1.5 inches, they should be 1.5 inches from here to here. And so when I originally did the instructions, I did them at 13 inches, and I added a 14th inch to the leather to make sure you had plenty of room. If you had the biggest bracelet, you could still have full 1.5 inch tails before the charm, not after the charm. And so then you slide it on, you do this. And then when you go to tighten it, you don't use your teeth. I mean, once you get it home, you can use your teeth. But let's say this is on your wrist, you're grabbing it down with one finger and pulling it like that, or having your butler do it. So, and then when you go to take it off, you're just kind of nudging it it's on your wrist, you're kind of nudging it one side with your free hand, and then until you're able to get it off. So, quick and easy to make, quick and easy to size, all complete instructions. And so we're going to go through these 4 kits. Again, these have been on our web, and some of you may have already purchased them. But just know that they are available. And then we're going to show you the naked kits, and then we're going to show you some naked strands that you could create your own kind of creations, and then we'll get you on your way. So lot number 8 is the Red Creek Jasper. So the Red Creek Jasper is $18. And again, the price on these kits varies by stone. So it's kind of a function of what is the cost of the stones and the cost of the infrastructure. We know as we get to the naked kits, the infrastructure's $7 to have a naked kit. So and the Red Creek Jaspers like $11 a strand. So then these are $18. So anyway, so lot number 8 is Red Creek. Lot number 9 is my personal favorite. This I found this blue sky, and this is what they look like when they come in the kit. This blue sky marble quartz. I've never heard of this stone, and found out that we had this. And so this one, the first one we pair with natural antique copper or natural antique brown. The blue sky marble quartz we pair with natural Pacific leather and gold. We just think that that looks really rich. And again, fun and easy to make. You can do these on the sideline of a soccer game. You can do them while you're watching TV or even on an airplane. Makes a great gift in that that if you roughly know their wrist size, you can make it so that it's kind of a one-size-fits-all gifty. And instead of it being glass beads, it's semi-precious stones. So lot 10 is right now the priciest one that we have. I wanted to have one faceted selection, and again, we come from a town where the school colors are purple, and so we do a lot of amethyst and cacoxenite or cacoxenite, however you pronounce it, is in the amethyst. It's a fancy version of amethyst. It's in the amethyst family, and not only is this cacoxenite or cacoxenite, it's faceted, so it's a little bit more expensive on the strand cost, and we decided that this would look lovely paired with silver. And we pair it with natural violet leather, natural violet, and which gives it I think a nice finished look as well. So lot number 10 is cacoxenite, and lot number 11 is bloodstone. Being in Packer country, I wanted to have a kind of a green and gold. I wanted to have something with brass, so it's kind of it's green and brass. Bloodstone is mostly green, but as the name says, there's periodically some reddish stones mixed into the strand. So you'll see that in bloodstone. Becky loves designing with, we had some luscious bloodstone pendants at one point that were just super yummy, and everything we made with those sold. So this is lot number 11. So the naked kits are just that. They are everything but the stones. Just add stones. Look at that. But we decided to give you our proprietary instructions and the toothpick and the leather. And for ease of use in the naked kits, the silver has natural black leather. The other three have natural antique brown. Just we're trying to go for perfect neutrals so that you can showcase the stones. We will entertain if you did want to do substitutions on the leather, and we'll do our best to accommodate. But I trust you will find that lot 11. Hang on, lot 11 was bloodstone. Someone said, okay, yeah.
Right.
All right, she fixed it.
Okay,
She meant lot 12.
all right.
I see Debbie fixed that. We got you, Debbie. So, yep. So 12 is silver. I'll leave that on the screen. 13 is my little card fell away. 13 is the copper that I was showing before. And for those of you planning ahead, 14 and 15 will be gold and brass. Gotta figure out how Dora's folded these. Oh, there we go. We got a person that custom folds these. Oh, I gotta grab my toothpick back. But yeah, so you've got all the infrastructure, which is essentially the spacer, the two charms, and these two charms are very unique. And I found out we are slowly running out of the charms, but we have enough. We'll have enough to get through this for a bit, and then that silicone bushing, and again, that silicone bushing is designed for thousands of slides, and it'll keep the, just the right tension, but not too much. 14, as I had noted, is the gold, and 15 is the brass.
So Eddie,
Yeah.
I just want to say, I'm behind and everything's a little jumbled, but so like for instance, 12 is sold out. We can make more, and it will be very hard for me to try to explain who's going to get exactly what when. But if you bid later, you might not get them right away. Is that what you were saying? We have
So
materials to make them.
So anything that wasn't a red, which is essentially lot 1, 2, 3, and 7, we can make more of. So just maybe draw a line at 10, Becky, and then we'll know that if they're past number 10, we'll ship it. That may mean they may not. It may mean you may not get your order shipped till next week. That's the worst case scenario. But if it's so we can make more naked kits, and we can make more of any of the stone sliders.
And this, honestly, Facebook is, just the screen is being really spazzy. I'm like 14 comments behind because it's not scrolling properly.
Okay.
So just, I'm gonna just keep pacing with you, or keep pacing with the screen.
Yeah.
But it might end up getting clicked after the show. But any of these we can make more of.
Yeah. So I'll give Becky a second to catch up.
Well, or just go ahead and know that
Keep-
I'm not
keep-
gonna catch up at this point.
Well, keep trying. Just keep trying.
I am, but I'm just saying, don't slow down.
Well.
For that.
Yeah. So while we're and all we have left after this is 5 different lots of some some 6mm stones that I thought were lovely and of a different color palette than our kits. So you can now use, make immediate use of your naked kit and make your own custom bracelet. And we're going to be featuring sodalite and apple jasper and labradorite and calcite. Calcite is so beautiful. And then tiger eye. But before we get into that, in 2 weeks, once a year, we started kind of a once a year tradition of doing kit retirements, outright retiring the kit family, and more commonly, not retiring the kit family, but retiring some of the colorways. And it's a combination of making room on our racks, which we'll now need to do with new kits, but it's also in tune with our concept to be a river and not a reservoir. And, even though things are, selling well still, but they may have slowed down, or in some cases we can't get beads anymore. So when we retire them, our promise to you is we'll give them, in these type of sales, we give them to you at 40% off. So still lovely kits that are currently on our website and in our store. And in 2 weeks, we're going to feature probably at least 30 lots of kits that's probably more in the colorway retirement than family retirement, but like one family that was up for retirement, it was woven ring pairs, and we can't get the chain anymore, and it's kind of self-retiring itself. There's only 2 kits left on the website and in our store, but if they're still available for the show, we'll put those 2 on the show. But then that's a hard retirement of a family. But like some of the, like we have some designs that have 8 colorways, and we're going to probably trim them down to 4, the 4 best selling, and take the 4 that are still lovely, still viable, but maybe aren't selling as fast. And then they're going to be on that 40% off show. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. That's going to be on August, I got to be thinking about that because I'm at the Global Leadership Summit in Milwaukee that day, so I'll have to make sure I've got everything ready ahead of that show. I didn't put 2 and 2 together till I just verbally said it now. Or worst case, I can leave that show a little early too. So it's a 2-day conference. So Becky's going to do her best to keep catching up, and I'm just going to show you lots 16 through 20. And know that it may be a while before the clicks occur on these. There are hard, right now we can get more of these, but right now when the quantity number is all we have in stock. So be mindful of that. 16 is going to be the Soda Light for $10. 17 is going to be the Apple Jasper for $10. And these are full 8-inch strands. You're getting somewhere between 34 and 36 beads. I can safely say if you're planning, you can get 34. So you're getting just a smidge more than you would be getting in the kit. So you would have, for sure, extras for earrings. 18 is labradorite now, and this has some good flash to it. So you can see that that's a little bit more expensive. $15. Hopefully you can see the flash on that. I wanted to do black gold Amazonite, and we have a ton of black gold Amazonite, but it's in matte, and it's not as dazzling as I wanted it to be. And I found this calcite. Now, calcite's not cheap. If you look at calcite on the web, it's and this is, like I said, $19. So it's almost double what the Soda Light and Apple Jasper are. And again, because Becky's not able to keep up the feed, some of these like I think calcite is possibly already sold out. So let's not take any more orders on lot 18. And pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. Oh, well, labradorite we only have 6 of also. So
How about we just say,
I'm sorry I messed up, Becky. So 18 is probably sold out. 19 only has 6 too. But yeah, so there may be some of these strands that you bid on and don't get. So be sure to look for if you don't see a like to it later on, it means that it may have sold out. And 20 is Tiger Eye. And this Tiger Eye is just, again, extra rich and yummy. So I was trying to think of all the colors that you could possibly dream of without duplicating any of the 4 that are in the kits. And this gave you a lot of different options. And this is only $11 for this lovely Tiger Eye. So that's all we have for you tonight. I'll hang on to see if anyone has any questions about the tutorial, or I could do my best to verbally answer them while Becky's chunking away. In case you missed it, we started the show with a bracelet called ChainChainChain, and every time we made ChainChainChain kits back in the day, we always would sing that song. So anyway, we are going to keep this feed open for just a few more minutes before signing off, but again, look for those likes, and if you're missing a like, it means it may have, had a situation where it was sold out. And we are so grateful for all of you that did join us tonight and the heartwarming response you had. If you are watching this on replay, please, please, please check the comments above the video in the feed, as I'm guessing there's a number of things that are either sold out or into next week's shipping. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And I don't know how she did it, but I think my wife has got 20 comments behind and now is caught up. So with that, we will bid you good night, and thanks for staying with us, and thanks for hanging in there through our video challenges early in the show. Good night, everyone, and God bless.
Everyone, love you. God bless.
Yep.